Hey, Uncle Harry, I got the crock pot and the onion soup mix for our Midwest barbecue. That's right. Today's episode of 3BQ is a Midwest barbecue. And Midwest barbecue means hot dogs and hamburgers. Stick around. Alright, so we're going to start out our Midwest barbecue with just some simple hamburgers. Now, what I have here is just some 80-20 ground beef that I picked up at the supermarket. You can go 90-10, you can go 70-30, you can buy whatever you want. I just went with an 80-20 ground beef. And it's going to come like this in a package. And the first thing you want to do is, a lot of people are going to grab this and they're just going to go crazy. They want to add eggs, breadcrumbs, oatmeal. You know, you can add all that stuff if you want to, and the reason they want to add that is to act as a binder to hold the patties together on the grill. You don't need all that stuff. I've done this 100 times with just straight hamburger, a few simple seasonings, and it's all about how many times you flip the meat on the grill. If you cook it properly, you don't have to add all those binders and take away from the true meat taste. So what I do is I get the small packages like this, and I want all the nooks and crevices. I really like when you get the burgers like that and they've got all those little open air pockets. That's going to create space for the flavor to kind of hang out in, and also when the fat renders away, it's going to leave us some of the spaces. So don't go crazy like I said. I'm just going to go in here like this, separate it, and then kind of want a burger about like that. And you can, you know, work the patty a little bit, but just don't go crazy with them. No sense in getting all crazy and manhandling it and trying to make a meatball. So here we go. Here's one patty. So leave them a little thick. They'll cut down a little bit. So I'm gonna leave them like that. I'll cut me another one here. And again, this is just simple patties. Not going crazy. We want the meat to shine. They're not going to fall apart. Okay, the rest of this, well, we'll make one more patty. I got a big boy to feed, and myself. Don't worry about them being too big, too thick. People like them. So once we got our patties like that, what you want to do is, I know this contradicts everything I just said, but to keep them from swelling up and getting to look like bowling balls or anything like that, you're going to take two fingers, and I think you can see that. I'll show you what it looks like here after a bit. But we're just going to take, and we're going to put a divot, or push it down in the center like that. And when it cooks, that'll be where it expands and gets big. You can also take your thumb like this here and just push in there. So as the burger cooks, it'll expand there. Then you can take and you can flip them over if you want. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to season them. And all I have is simple salt, pepper, and garlic powder. I'm going to go ahead and flip those over. And see how that came apart there? Don't worry about that. Just push it back together. I promise you, it's going to come out as an awesome burger when it's done. Again, you don't have to put this particular order. You can put it on any way you want. You can put pepper first. You can, sometimes people even wait till afterwards because they think that when you're cooking the patties, the pepper actually burns and gives it like a bitter taste. So if you want, you can put the pepper on as you're pulling them off or after you flip the first time. There's several different ways you can do your seasoning. Just figure out what works best for you, what you and your family like. and go from there. My family likes garlic, so you'll see me using a garlic quite a bit. After we get this done, go ahead and let these chill out in the fridge for a little bit. What we're going to do is, if you really want to impress your friends at the barbecue, we'll go to some next level stuff and we'll show you how to grind your own meat. Alright, we're back. So what I have here is, this is just a straight boneless shoulder chuck roast that you can buy at the store. I think it was $2.49 a pound. This is probably 3 pounds or so. You can go through here and you can buy a chuck roast, you can buy sirloin, you can buy whatever you want. Don't let the fact that you're grinding your own meat intimidate you. It's really simple, it's fun to do, and you probably got a grinder, you know, from when you were doing deer hunting or something anyway that you bought from Cabela's. I bought mine at Cabela's. So, and I haven't used it in a long time. Now let's start over. Alright, we're back. So, what I have here is just a standard boneless chuck shoulder roast. You're going to find these in the supermarket right next to the hamburger probably. This is what you're going to want to buy if you want to grind your own hamburger. You can buy other things like sirloin, rib eyes. You can buy anything you want to grind and to make your own hamburgers. This is just one of the cheaper options. I also have some bacon. I'll show you what we're going to do with that. But I just take and, you know, cut the sirloin or cut the chuck roast into strips like that. And then I'm going to cube them. And you can do it however you like. Maybe your grinder takes big long strips like this better. I found that mine takes these little chunks like this. So I'm going to take and cut a couple of these up here like this. Then I've also got the bacon. And I'll show you what we'll do with that is, after I get all these cut, I'm going to take the bacon and I want to make sure that I get some bacon that's got some meat on it and not just straight fat. Because we're not trimming any of the fat off of our chuck roast. We're going to leave all the fat in there and we're going to put that in with our burgers because that's the fat that we want. But if you leave and just get just straight fat in your bacon, the burgers are going to come out just slightly greasy. So be careful of that. Make sure you got meat in your bacon. And what I do is I take a chunk of bacon like this and I'm just going to put it with about every third piece of meat that I'm going to put in my grinder. That's a little hidden secret that some people don't know about, but it's going to add a big amount of flavor to your burgers, and it's going to take it to that next level that no one's used to. So we'll see you back after I get all these cut, and then we'll season them. All right, so as you can see, we have it all cubed up, and this is where you want to season your meat before you grind. This way you get the flavors, and it gets into each and every nook and cranny of the meat as you're grinding, and then when it comes out, it saves you a step as you know, you're grilling. So take just straight kosher salt, my little fancy salt shaker that I made. Everybody made fun of me about. Go ahead and salt your meat. Add some black pepper. Again, I don't have no sponsors, so Kroger's getting free plugs because their name's on my spices. Oh, this is some oregano. It may seem unorthodox to some of you, but give it a shot. And then we got some garlic powder. And then I'm just going to go through, flip these over real fast. So after you get all these flipped over, go ahead and hit them with another layer of seasoning. Alright, and then as we talked about earlier, got our bacon. This way when I'm grinding it, I don't add too much bacon. I know that sounds crazy. There's no such thing as too much bacon. And I just, you know, do this about every third piece. Maybe more, maybe less. And that way as I'm grinding it, it works it into the ground beef. Alright, so we'll see you back once we start grinding. Thank you. Alright, we got our grinder set up. Got our meat. Then go ahead and turn it on. Start grinding. Got my plunger. Alright, so you get an idea, kind of see what that looks like. Oh, it looks good. How well that goes together to form our patties. Oh, it smells delicious. Our seasoning's already in there. So I'm going to go ahead and grind the rest of this up. And got our hamburger chilling in the fridge. You want to keep that stuff cold while you're grinding it and afterwards. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to hot dogs. I know this may not seem like a big deal to some of you, but I love hot dogs. When doing a Midwest barbecue, hot dogs are a must. Don't skimp on the hot dogs. Get you some good hot dogs. But don't just throw them on the grill and get a good char. Take it to the next level. Get you a knife and just score the hot dog. Now you don't have to go real deep. You don't have to make it all crazy. You can cut spiral patterns. You can cut long ways. And I'll show you how we do it here. And you just get you a little knife, kind of go, start at one side of the hot dog, get in there, and don't go all the way through, and just score it like that. And my phone's ringing. Now we're going to move on to one of the most important parts of the Midwest barbecue, and that's the hot dog. I know it may seem simple, but this is a must at a Midwest barbecue. And I'm bringing a lot of them, because people are going to eat them. So you can just throw this right on the grill, cook it, put some char on it, and be good with it. But we want to go to the next level. So take your hot dog, and don't skimp on the hot dogs. Get a good hot dog. Take your knife, go about halfway through the dog, and score it like this. And as you cook it, that's going to plump up. It's going to create some crevices. It's going to give it some texture. And it's going to look really cool. It gives it that wow factor that people aren't used to seeing. And you can do the spiral thing like that. Or you can take and, let me get my finger out of the way there, and just come down the sides like this. Go on all four sides. Just give it some really cool looks. Something different. People aren't used to seeing this stuff. You're going to take your hot dog to the next level. Everyone's going to be like, man, remember so-and-so's hot dog? They were so good. Man, 3BQ makes the best hot dogs ever. Maybe. Okay, remember earlier I saved some of the hamburger from when we were making the patties. What we're going to do is we're going to create a coating to go around their hot dogs. And this is where you want to use cheap hot dogs. Get hot dogs that don't plump or don't expand. The cheap brand that you buy for $1 or whatever at the store works really good. So don't be afraid to get that. And then don't take a whole lot of hamburger. A little bit of this goes a long way because we're going to spread it really thin. Okay? Get you one egg. I know it seems like a lot, but you're going to need this for the binder. And then also those wonderful breadcrumbs that we were talking about. And these are just plain old breadcrumbs. They're nothing, fancy. Just add a little bit, because we never know how much we're going to need. And then just start mixing this together. I know it seems like a lot of egg, and it is, but this is how I did it. And then you just add the breadcrumbs to suck up the egg. And don't add no salt to this. The last couple times I've made it, these cheap hot dogs have plenty of salt. So you don't need to add any salt. You can if you want. A little bit of oregano. A little bit of garlic. And more breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs are just going to suck up the egg. So I'll get this all mixed up. Get it to the consistency that I want. And then I'll show you the next step. Alright, so this is how you're going to make these hamburger wrapped hot dogs. It's not that hard. It's pretty simple. Got some plastic wrap laid down here. Think of Gordon Ramsay and beef Wellington, but not even close. But anyway, and I haven't figured out a way to do this without getting stuff everywhere. So make sure you clean your hands afterwards, or beforehand, and then clean up your area afterwards. So you get your hot dog laid down there, and again, it doesn't take a whole lot of this hamburger to do this. You just want to kind of use your hot dog as a reference to how big you need it. Squash it out like that. And then what I do is put the hot dog there, or there, back here maybe. And then you don't need all this extra hamburger on the side. So we're going to take that up. And then you just grab your saran wrap. Keep your hot dog tight. Roll them up like that. And it's a really thin layer of hamburger meat. And if you have some sticking out like that, don't worry about it. But if you have any overlapping, you don't want it to overlap. You just want it to be straight hamburger and then hot dog. And what you can do is you can wrap this guy up like this in your saran wrap and then roll it just like they do the beef Wellingtons. And that gets it nice and tight. And then you just set this like that, fold it under, set it, put it in the fridge or on the plate till you make the next one. Alright, I'm outside now. I was going to go, full-fledged Midwest barbecue and bust out the propane, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So, got the chimney going, got a couple pecan pieces in there, and so once the coals get lit, we'll put them in the pit there, well, the Weber cattle, and we'll let them mash over, and then we'll get to barbecuing. So, see you in a minute. Alright, our pit's pretty much ready to go ahead and throw the meat on, but one thing I wanted to do is, I wanted to show you just the differences in the color of the meat. So let's see if that focuses there. But if you look, these are the store-bought patties that we bought, and this is the stuff that we ground ourselves. Just look how much better that looks. It's red, vibrant, pretty. So take the time, go ahead and grind your own patties. So I've got the pit set up here to sort of cook indirect, and go ahead and set it up here, but it gives me options. I've got all my coals on this side, and then back here there's no coals, so that way if it's getting a little too hot or something, I can just move my burgers to the back. So I'm going to go ahead and put as many of these on as I can. And again, put that dimple on facing down. Ooh.
Okay. It's okay if it flares up. It's going to go back down when we put our lid on.
Okay. As you can see, my vent is over here away from the fire. So we got our fire on this side, heat's coming up, coming back down, up and out. So gives us kind of a smoker effect. got my vents a little under, about halfway open, so I'll monitor the temp here. But I also want to show you these balls here. I'm going to show you another way to cook. We're going to make some things called smash burgers, so we'll cook those next. But all right, we're going to go ahead and do a little sneak peek here, see how they're doing. Oh, can you hear that? See if we can zoom in here without messing it up. Not very good at this part. Okay. Just about ready to flip. Starting to get a flare up, so we're going to cover the lid back on. But thought you'd like to see that. Alright, here we go. Here's the moment of truth. We're going to go ahead and flip our burgers and see how they do. Alright, so we went ahead and flipped our burgers, and I kind of wanted to show you, starting to get a hot spot, you know, from the charcoal. So we went ahead and moved our burgers around so we don't have to worry about them, you know, burning or anything like that. And that's part of cooking on a grill. You just have to learn where your hot spots are and adjust. So, but all in all, they're turning out really good. Another thing that some people want to do is you want to get in here and you see that big old fat juicy burger right there, and they want to squash it down. And don't squash your burgers. Just let them cook. All right, let them chill. So we're gonna let these go just a little bit longer, and when we come back, we're gonna take it to the next level. I'm not gonna say that again. So when we come back, I'm gonna show you another trick to make your burgers taste awesome. Alright, I'm really going to try this next part and film it without getting in the way of the camera. But we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you a little trick that I do. To any kind of beef, really, you want to do this. So I just got pads of butter here. These burgers back here are done. I'm going to take these little pads of butter and you're just going to put them on top of your burgers. These three are still cooking, so I'm not going to do that yet. And we're just going to let that butter melt for a minute. That's where that indirect process comes in. And next is to put cheese on. Alright, I had one more burger here that I couldn't fit on, so we're going to go ahead and put it on there now. Coals are running really, really hot. The three bigger burgers are done, and we got the butter going on them. And now it's time for some cheese. So, got some pepper jack and some good old American. I'm going to put these on, and we'll come put the lid back on, let that melt, and we'll see you after this. Alright, so we got the burgers off the grill, cheese is melted, and we're going to let these chill until we get the hot dogs and the rest of the burgers on. Got one more method of cooking burgers that I want to show you. It's called smash burgers, and we'll get that going here in a second. Alright, so this next and final method that we're going to try is called a smash burger. So I've never tried this. It'll be a first for me, and we'll see how it goes. But I mean, it's got to work, right? So what I did is I just took a cast iron skillet, cast iron skillet, got it over my coals, and I'll let it get really, really hot. And then we're gonna take these balls that we made, put them on there real hot, let them cook a minute, and then smash them down. So we get going on that. Once the kettle gets a little hotter, we'll go ahead and come back. Alright, our cast iron pan's pretty hot, so we're going to go ahead and take the balls, take two of them, put them on there. Oh yeah. Let them go for a minute, then we'll smash them down. Is there a better sound than that? This is the only time smashing burgers is allowed. Ooh, that's hot. Oh, and I didn't put any grease in the pan. That's just seasoning, and then the fat from the burgers and all that will give us the release that we need. You know, I really wish y'all could be here to smell this. Stuff smells so amazing. So, oh yeah, we're ready to cook. So, be careful not to burn yourself. That cast iron is extremely hot. Just look at that. Have to smash burgers. Ooh, look at that. Party. Really want to take you guys. These things look phenomenal. So, see if I can get in there. Get a really good look. That's just gorgeous. How's that? About ready for some butter and cheese? Let's do that right now. Check them real fast, make sure the other side. You hear my dogs fighting? Oh yeah, that's good. They're done. That butter takes a second to melt. We'll probably do some time lapse right here. Oh yeah. See that chip on my kettle? That's okay. Called Weber about that. They sent me a brand new lid. I just kept it in the box because I'll wait for this one to get ruined before I break out the new one. So, Weber customer service, best in the business. Put pepper jack on that one. American on that one. Let that go for a second. I want you to see that. Is that not one of the prettiest burgers you've ever seen? Oh, it's bright. Cut that light off. There you go. Look at there. Beautiful. Set this off. Make our other one. These can cook quick, so keep your eye on them. And we'll be back after they're done. All right, I don't know how much of that last one we missed because my card got full and I'm not very good at erasing old videos. But anyway, the first attempt at the dog with hamburger was a disaster. It fell apart. So, because I put it directly on the fire. So I got this one going back here, and I've got it a little bit more indirect. So the trick is not picking it up and moving it around, just rolling it as it gets done. You just want to roll it. So that way, when you pick it up, it tends to ruin them. So this one looks like it's going to be pretty good. It's back here in the indirect heat. So I'm going to grab a couple more. Go ahead and throw the rest of them on, finish those up, and we'll see you inside. Well, actually, no. We're going to toast the buns. Don't forget to always toast the buns. Man, I feel like I shouldn't be doing that. That's probably copyrighted by some other barbecue guys that do shows. Probably shouldn't do that anymore. So, alright, we'll go ahead and toast our buns when we come back. Alright, so our burger dogs are coming along pretty good. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to toast some buns. Turn these around a little bit. See how that one's coming out okay. That's a little hot. Got me some onion buns. Put them straight on there like that. It don't take very long. Alright, so once these buns get toasted, we'll take it all inside, get the burger dogs off, and put everything together and enjoy our dinner. See you there. Alright, so here we are with our spread that we had for our Midwest barbecue. We got all our burgers, our hot dogs, our burger dogs, if you can see them back here, and then I got my hot dog right here. You know, some of us may think that hot dogs and hamburger is not really a barbecue. But if you're from Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, this is barbecue. You get together, you hang out with your family and friends. Hey, what are you bringing to the barbecue? Bring some Lay's chips or some soda. But expect hamburgers and hot dogs. Don't come looking for a brisket if you get invited to a barbecue in the Midwest. So, I'm going to go ahead and make my sandwich. Got me some lettuce. Gonna put that on the bottom. I already got some mayonnaise on there. I'm gonna go for one of these smash burgers here. Look at that one. Put that on there. Ooh, give me a tomato. Put an onion on there if you like. A couple of these bread and butter pickles. And I'm all set. Thanks for joining us for this episode of 3BQ. We hope you liked what you saw. I probably made some mistakes, but hey, we're all learning. It's not called Beginner's Barbecue for nothing. I just hope you learned some few things. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel. We're going to keep coming out with new videos and hopefully have some fun along the way. Thanks for watching.